Okay, good afternoon, everyone. It's Laura and Alex here from My Law in Spain. Laura's based in our Costa Blanca office, and I'm based here in the Costa del Sol. And today we are talking about adding buildings, swimming pools, extensions to the deeds. Because what we find a lot of times is that sometimes in Spain, bureaucracy is a little bit frustrating. Applying for licenses takes a long time. So hey, what? People build the extensions or swimming pools before they get the planning permission. And then we find that they don't add them to the deeds. So that is what we are talking about today, adding extensions to deeds. So Laura, let's start off with the basic question. Which works are considered an extension and need a building permit?
Okay, so basically every work that you do in your property will need a building permit. Okay, we distinguish between minor works and major works, but everything will need a permit. Okay, extensions will be any type of works that result in an increase of the total surface area. For example, swimming pools, undergrounds, building an upper floor, or even enclosing a porch. With even glass curtains, it would be considered an extension, and that needs to be added to the deeds. Okay. As what I was mentioning before, the minor and major works, the difference would be, for example, if we want to do any electric repairs, plumbing repairs, or floor or ceiling, that would be a minor work because it doesn't require the technical project. But if you want to knock down any bearing wall, if you want to, as I said, add an extension or a swimming pool, you would need this technical project, and therefore that's a major work.
Okay. And so, for example, if I just wanted to go in and change a kitchen or change a bathroom, do I need planning permission for that?
That would depend what you want to do. If it affects your structure, you will need a major works license or permit.
Okay. But generally speaking, if someone is changing their kitchen, they wouldn't need a license, or would they go for the licencia de obra menor, the minor license?
In most cases, that would be a minor license, an obra menor, but you still need to obtain that permit.
Okay, okay. And I suppose sometimes it's best consulting lawyers and architects about what licenses are required, and then applying for that. So how do I obtain that building permit?
Okay, so this is done through the town hall. Normally, most of them can offer this to be done online. And then you need to pay for some taxes to request this permit. In most cases, the architect will do this for you, but if not, you will have to apply for it yourself or through a lawyer who knows about it.
Okay. And can I, I'm really desperate to put that new swimming pool in for the summer. Can I start the works without the permit?
If it's a major works, as I said, this will need the technical project, and therefore you would need for the town hall to approve this project to ensure that it is aligned with the building requirements of the town hall. So you should wait until you have this one. On the other hand, if it's a minor work, let's say the kitchen you were mentioning before, you just need to communicate to the town hall that you're going to carry out these works, and that will be sufficient for you to start.
Okay. Okay. And is there, a lot we lack for clients buying, selling, and inheriting property all over Spain. Is there anything else needed? So we talked about a swimming pool. Okay, we need a planning permission for a swimming pool. But if I lived if I lived in an apartment, would I need a permission or authorization from anyone else?
Yes, so you would need also the permit from the community owners. If you're part of a building or a kind of place, a residential, which is part of has common areas, you will need to request permission to the neighbors. This could be already approved in the general rules of the community owners, but if that's not the case, then you would need to ask for this permit expressly. This is normally done at the annual general meeting. But if you're kind of in a rush and you want to do it straight away, you could ask for an additional general meeting, which could be held in the next few weeks or so.
Okay, and it's very important because basically I'm heavily involved with my local community of owners, and I've got a very good relationship with the administrator. And anything that I want to do to my property, I've always kind of spoken to the administrator about that, and they then are liaised with the community and sometimes the committee, and together they will give you the nod on whether or not you do require permission or authorization from them, or whether that's not required. So it is important to look through the rules, especially when you buy a new property. So it's a good idea to, if you're buying a property on a community of owners, to look at the statutes and read through those beforehand, because what you might want to do to the property might be prohibited. Okay, so Laura, I've got a lovely villa. I've finished my swimming pool. It's filled up. The works are finished. Is my property legal now?
Yes. So if you have requested the permit and you have carried out the works according to that technical project that you submitted, then your property is legal. Okay, but this doesn't mean that your deeds will be automatically updated. Okay, this is something you will have to do yourself. In any case, regardless of where you're going to update the deeds now or in the future, it's very important to get the architect to finalize the works and issue the final work certificate, okay? Because this is the key document that will be needed in the future to update the deeds.
And what if the works were carried out a long time ago, and so I'm buying this property, Laura, and for example, there's no swimming pool on there? What would you recommend there?
Well, this would depend on how old the extension itself is. If it's old enough according to the regulations of the specific region where it's located, then an architect could issue a certificate of antiquity, basically to prove that the works are old enough and can be added to the deeds. If, on the contrary, this is not old enough, then you would have to carry out all the previous, what we've discussed, retrospectively. So you would have to apply for the permit to the town hall. You would need the technical project if it's a major works, and you would also need this certificate of final works, and if it's part of the community, the neighbor's permit as well. So basically everything, but retrospectively.
Okay, so yeah, that's interesting, because we act for lots of clients who buy these properties. We send them the legal report. We always check the land registry search, which has a written description of the property, and then we could check the cadastral registry. And therefore, there's a large discrepancy in the square meters, then we'll more or less know that an extension has been completed. But also, we would strongly recommend that anyone who's buying a property, maybe excluding a brand new property, a new build, but an older property, we'd recommend that they carry out a survey, because a surveyor basically in Spain will typically be an architect. They'll go along to the property, they'll measure the property, and they'll compare it to the land registry and cadastro, and lots of times they don't match up. So it is important, with a view to selling the property in the future, ideally land registry and cadastro would match up. And if, for example, the architect has identified that there's a difference in square meters, then we can add them to the deeds as Laura set out. And usually that cost is covered by the seller. So that would be part of the negotiation. Right up front, when you're about to sign that reservation contract to purchase that lovely Spanish property, we would insert in the contract that a statement from the seller that they state that the property is completely legal, it's all registered, and land registry and cadastro match. And if we've got that clause in that contract and it turns out then not to be the case, then the sellers would be responsible for updating the deeds. But they also have a responsibility to update those deeds before they sell the property. But obviously it's all about buyer beware in Spain, and that's why we'd recommend that you instruct independent lawyers.
Yes, indeed. As you were saying, the sooner you can update your deeds, the better, because it will make your selling process a lot smoother. And to update the deeds, you just simply need to present all the documents that we mentioned before to the notary. You will basically sign a new works declaration or an extension deed, which can be signed by yourself or by your representative in Spain, pay the corresponding notary fees and land registry fees. And then there's a small tax, which is a stamp duty, which is between 1 to 1.5% on the value of the works that you carried out. So it's not a big amount to pay.
Yeah, and it's strongly advisable to have your deeds all registered before you put the property on the sale, up for sale, or certainly let the agent know that you want that's something that has to happen and can be part of the negotiation. Okay, good. Well, thank you very much. If you've got any other questions about adding extensions or swimming pools to your deeds, please contact us by sending an email to inquiries@mylawyerinspain.com, or going onto our website and finding the contacts page where you can send us an email directly. And of course, there's lots of other useful videos on the YouTube channel, so please feel free to watch them after this one. Thank you very much. Until next time. Thank you, Laura. We'll see you soon.
Thank you. Bye.
All right.